encountered really with therapists is they really don't talk too much about the importance of play. So we go to occupational therapists, we go to speech therapists, and this is my personal observation. So there are parents who go to many therapists who do this with them, but I and along with me, many other parents have not seen therapists really focusing a lot on what play is all about. Because play is the first thing that any human being goes through. We as children, first thing what we do is we don't go to schools and start studying. From the time we are born, there are various developmental aspects we have, and one of them which is very important is play. So play develops, thinking as well. So Prerna and Smita will be presenting an act on importance of play.
She wants a presentation.
I prefer not using mic. I hope I am audible.
Yeah.
Okay, one more thing I just wanted to request everyone is let Prerna and Smita finish with the entire thing, then we can ask them questions, because what happens is when we ask questions in between, then the discussion gets prolonged. So please park your questions. We'll be giving you handouts also, which will help you, and you can park your questions, which we can discuss after the act.
पास कर देना सबको दे देंगे एक लाइन में पास कर एक लाइन
We'll start. A todo el mundo por favor ponerse de pie. A todo el mundo por favor ponerse de pie. Well, I was trying to say, please stand up in Spanish. You can please sit down now. So, most of us did not understand what I was saying because you do not understand the language. So, this is what happens with our kids. They do not understand language many a times, and we expect them to follow our commands, listen to us, and more importantly, we want them to speak. So, a warm welcome to all the lovely mommies, daddies, and kids out here. Today, myself and Prerna, it's an attempt from both of us to emphasize on the importance of play in communication, and we would be doing some role plays. And as Bardana mentioned, you can have your question and answer, and we would have other moms joining us to answer. And I would also like to mention most of the work done for this session is by Prerna, and she definitely needs an applause for that. Thanks, Prerna, for doing that. At the same time, that also means that she would be answering most of the questions. Yeah. Let's go. So, our kids have difficulty in. What do you feel our kids have difficulty in when it comes to communication? Any of you?
expressing their needs.
Yeah.
Reception as well. Reception of the language to understand what the person is saying. Initiate.
That's true. So, most importantly, most of our kids have difficulty making an eye contact, interacting with others, sharing emotions and activities, learning to gesture, speak, following commands and directions. And they have a tendency to, most of our kids have tendency to repeat words, repeat actions, and play in an unusual and repetitive manner. The skills our kids need to learn, they are social engagement, language, social imitation, and play. And what do we need to learn for them? The skills are engaging them with us, imitation, ways to improve their language, and most importantly, play. So let us first understand what communication is. So in your opinion, what is communication? Any of you? What could be communication?
Exchange of information.
What I think I should be able to tell in a very simple way.
Okay, anything else?
It may be our needs or ends, our emotions.
Okay. So nothing apart from that indicates communication
Understand instructions, follow instructions.
through.
There are many types of
Communication.
communication.
Communication is to convey,
Convey.
not only through words. It could also be just
Through gestures, vocal and
Gestures,
through eye contact.
Yeah,
and
that's
through
very nice.
action.
That is what I was trying to convey. So it could be an eye contact, a gesture, a touch to indicate something, a word or a sentence, and most importantly here we need is joint attention with our kids. So these all things comes under communication. So best way to bring our kids into our world is how do we bring them to our world? So let's go into this. We'll do a role play.
Here I am the kid.
Yeah. Generally, when I throw a ball at you, what would you do? You'd catch, right? You're conscious, that's the reflex. So what generally, or most of the times, our kids do, will try to do it through the role play. Catch. Catch. Ball, catch. She was least interested. The kid was not interested because this is a lot of her interest. So let's see what we do. So we need to understand them, make them feel comfortable, let them know that we all understand their world, and most importantly, learn their play. Now, we'll do another role play to understand how we should, or there is no right way to do it, but we'll try to do it. So let's assume your kid is playing with the car wheels. Generally, we want to straighten it and drive to teach the proper way. So what we do here is, she's the kid, I am parent there. Wow, car. Wow, round and round. Yeah, boom, 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 boom. So she gave me eye contact a couple of times. She took interest. So the kid understood that my mom is trying to understand me and she is a part of my play. So how do we enter our kids' world? Understand what your child likes. When you do this, you have the chance of entering your kids' world. Now Prerna will take it over.
There are interactive techniques that we are going to show today, which might help few. So there are few interactive techniques that we are going to enact today. These might help some, might help not. So let's go with it. So first is follow your child's lead, imitate your child, animate, modeling and expanding language, playful obstructions, balance terms, and communicative temptations. So we'll go one by one and this. So basically, the task that you have to do, go home and think about what your child likes. Make a list of things that your child likes. So that would give you a better chance to enter his work. So first,
Here I am the child.
first,
Say something.
no.
I'm the child and she's the pig.
So now she's playing with a string. So this is a very irrelevant play. We think what our kid is doing or how to get into this. So that's fine. String, green string. Hey, wow. So get the rules. So what I did was, I did not force my kid to take some useful object or a toy to play along. I just went with what my kid likes. So what she was playing, I just took a similar thing, and I tried to play with her. So stay face to face, so our child can give a proper eye contact. It's easier for them to give eye contact. Join in your child's play. Comment, but don't ask questions. What are you doing? What is this? He or she might not be able to answer that. Wait for your child to engage or communicate with you. Communication might just be an eye contact. So be sensitive but persistent and enjoy if even a fraction of eye contact, because I've been through that phase. When I got the first eye contact, I was like, yay. So just enjoy that phase. This would be imitate your child. Yeah.
Again, I am the kid. I'm just clapping.
Clap, 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 clap. When you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Here again, I got an eye contact. I could give a rhyme to it. So playfully, I could engage my kid in the activity.
Right now, can I just
Yeah.
yeah. Here when they were modeling the rhyme. Okay, this is a very important part because this is because you know that our kids really like routines. So if you make such songs like she said this is the way I clap my hand, or when you're happy and you know. So basically when you continuously, especially for moms who are trying to get their kid to talk, if you continuously make it as a part of your routine and included it in your special time, like have a certain, probably a time of the day where you include this particular rhyme, your child will anticipate and wait for this song to come, and there are better chances that your child will want it, give you certain, probably even if you're like saying something out of it like 1, 2, 3, there are better chances your child will say, like if you wait, if you pause, like 1, give you a glance, or say 2. So basically I wanted to say that make these things, whatever they are telling you, as a part of routine with your child every day.
Okay, animation. So our kids like cartoons, right? Why do they like cartoons? They're loud, they're colorful, they're animated. Okay. If our spouse says something to us in a very particular language, we might or might not listen to our spouse. And if the spouse gets animated, सुन रहे हो या नहीं, we might just look at it. So we have to be animated with our kids. So here my kid likes tickling a lot. So so she's just quietly sitting at a place or standing, doing nothing. So I will make Smita. 1, 2, 3. So
Just a word
Yeah.
of caution, many of our kids have a lot of auditory disturbances. So the animation level should be just enough for him not to get that hypersensitivity. Otherwise our kids will end up doing this, So you have to take as per your child's skills.
Be excited about the activity, take interest in whatever your kid is doing, and be animated about it. Exaggerate your gestures, your facial expression. Exaggerate total quality, but as Ash said, it should be as per your child's comfort level. Wait with anticipation. So when I did 1, 2, and this was a routine that me and my kid is following. So he knows that next 3 and mom will come and take it. So that is waiting for anticipation. When you do that, you get an eye contact or some means of communication. Adjust your animation to help your child remain regulated. It should not be overwhelming for the kid. So here we have a video. We have a video. आवाज एक तो That was me and my kid. And sorry for the mess in the house. So this is what I meant by animation and waiting for anticipation. Next.
So now modeling and expanding language. What we say to our child and how we say it have an impact on their understanding. So we basically need to analyze at what level our kid is, and we generally go one level up. So when our kid is at the level of no verbal communication, then we use one word and similarly. So give meaning to your child's action. Whatever your child is doing, you can give a word to that.
So I'm the kid and I'm just lying, just sitting like this on a sofa.
Yawning.
So basically, I'm not doing anything, but she's making meaning to my actions. So kid thinks that mom is paying attention to me. She's understanding me. She's understanding my actions.
Again, adjust your language. Use simple language which your kid can understand. Speak slowly. Stress on important words. We have a video of it also. Be repetitive. And use gestures and visual cues. This is most important for the kids who are not yet verbal. And it's helpful for all, but we need to use it for them. So we have shown this video. Oh, yes, sorry, we don't have a video. Yeah. So model language around your child's level of interest. Whatever your child is interested, as Prerna talked about making the list, whatever is your child's interest, just talk about that. Say your child is interested in water, you can talk on, you can use that as an opportunity to talk when he is doing water play or when he wants water, something like that. So again, we use different techniques like parallel talk and self-talk. Most of us, I guess, are aware of that. So parallel talk is when what you say on behalf of your kid, and self-talk is again what you explain what you are doing. Expand on your child's language, which I mentioned earlier. You need to define at what level your kid is, and accordingly you need to expand on that language. Avoid questions, because again that can overwhelm the kid and they will lose the interest. Now we'll have a video.
On the wall. Over there. That zero. Green.
So, Smita is the kid playing with the car. Okay. I'm coming. Stop.
So as mentioned, she gave me a warning that I'm coming, and you can use anything 1, 2, 3, or whatever you are like. So, but you have to use the same phrase so that your kid understand. Playfully interrupt or block your child's play so that again he can interact with you. Wait for your child to communicate or react in some way. So an eye contact, I looked at her, then she blocked it, and I tried pushing the car. So that was communication from me to move her hand. So respond to your child's communication. When I communicated that I want to move my car ahead, she just removed her hand.
Balance turns is basically turn taking. Turn taking is important because our kids would need that in social interaction. So she's playing with the ball. 1, 2, 3. My turn. Your turn. For some kids, it would be difficult if I take the toy away even for a second. So the turn should be very short. Like it should be very quick. If your kid is okay with it, or if you follow regular routine, and if the kid gets comfortable, you can like take a longer time for the turn. But initially, go with short turn. Sometimes.
Basically, you need to understand that you should not get frustrated in the play. During that should be right.
At times it would happen that if I try taking the ball, my kid would get very frustrated that why is my object being taken away. So, for me, so try exchanging turns. So, there are different ways that you can do this balance turns. Start with short turns. Use the phrases and gestures to warn your child what is going to happen. Wait for your child to communicate his turn. This will happen once you set a routine when the kid understands what is happening, what turn taking is. Always return the material. And if it is difficult for your child to take turns, exchange turns. Communicate with them. So this is a jar of biscuits, box of biscuits inside of So this is like in her side but out of her reach. So this is something like above in a shelf, and Smita wants biscuits. Biscuit. Open. Biscuit.
Here, they are actually giving gestures to every word. This is very important because our kids are non-verbal, maybe non-verbal. So open and like more, finish, all these gestures you have to give for each. So it helps them remember because our kids are very visual.
Now she gave me a small piece, just a small piece, so that I need it more, and again she gives me an opportunity to ask for more.
So things should be inside but out of reach. You should have control access. So though the things are inside but out of reach, beware of climbing. Our kids have tendency यहाँ चढ़ के ले लेंगे, but then they should not hurt themselves. They should need your assistance in the in whatever they are doing. So create such situations where they would need your assistance. Give inadequate coaches so that they come and communicate again that they want more. And silly situations. So silly situation could be, this again depends on every kid. So when you are wearing a socks and your kid is observing, so try wearing in your hand and
Just to catch an attention, she is wearing it in hand.
do something in a wrong way and then correct it also. So, oh silly me, I did this.
Yeah, but again here the kid should understand. I mean, if your kid
Yeah.
knows
Doesn't-
about it, that the socks goes in legs, then only you should attempt this. Whatever you, it's based on your kid's understanding.
Okay. Actually,
Yeah. I just wanted to summarize why we took play. One, it is so cheap. You don't need to spend money on it. Okay, you can get all toys also on the road. So basically, when they were using that to play, make a small box which has kind of pair. So suppose these are balls, okay, and just place the box, make an area, restrict the area. So these are some essential things. The child doesn't run away. Okay, so you are very interested in doing all these things, and the child just goes to the other room, you know. So make an area which is restricted so that he can be there. So it will start with 1 minute. So 1 minute, with the balls, Shaunak started doing this, and I wanted to play catch and throw. So Shaunak just started doing this. So I imitated him, and then it gradually progressed. So one play is essential, and it's easy because it's cheap. You don't need therapists for that. You can do it. These are very, very good, amazing. All these techniques. Second thing is you can, one second, you have to keep it safe. You cannot be in the enthusiasm mode and go somewhere out on the beach and try some things which will end up injuring the child. The third thing is the language input has to be minimal. So you saw that they were using very less amount of words, very few, and of course associated with gestures and animation. The levels of the child can be different. So for an older child now who's become verbal, how will play be important? So play can be anything, like silly play under the blanket. So my son is fascinated with rockets. So what we do is just on the bed, make a pillow rocket, and he likes to say that 10, 9, 8, 7 and just throw the pillows. So you have to plan your play because you know your child the best. So how can I play with my child? Play should be unplanned, but for us, we need to plan it. So what do you want to get out of it? What communication? Okay, today in the bath, maybe I'll teach him body parts. So the pouring of the water on the hand, things like that. So you have to plan your play so that it becomes effective. Okay. The other thing is, what else can you teach from play? You can teach academics like body parts, fast, slow, innumerable things. So this is very essential that you plan it. I'm again repeating it, but nouns, prepositions, whatever. So whatever your goals are, you have to plan your play. Okay, today bath time, I'll just teach him pouring. That's it. Verbs, flowing water. That. Second thing is you can teach safety. Okay, so not like this, things like that. Then social cues have to be there, like you said, turn taking, waiting, initiating and engaging. All these are the social cues. The second thing is humor. You can teach our kids humor. Oopsie, I fell down. Or the boys, oopsie, things like that. So they get that humor part. Second thing is pretend play, emotions. Oh my god, I got hurt, I'm so sad, it's my turn. All emotions on your face. Why hi-fi and all these are important is there's a social connectivity when we do that, and our kids, because they are so-called not social, in fact they are, but that's how you teach them. So hi-fi, eye contact and connectivity. And so just the last word, support the child, let the flower unfold, but not to try to pattern a daisy into a rose. So play should be as per the child, as per his needs, so plan it out. Okay.